This confrontation is unfolding across the Middle East. Inside underground military bunkers, inside radar control rooms filled with screens, inside desert missile launch platforms prepared for rapid deployment. Three state actors are directly involved: the United States, the State of Israel, and the Islamic Republic of Iran. The sequence began with coordinated airstrikes targeting Iranian military infrastructure. The targets were specific: surface-to-air missile batteries positioned near strategic facilities, long-range radar installations used for early warning detection, command buildings responsible for military coordination. When radar installations are destroyed, detection range shrinks. When air defense batteries are hit, interception capability weakens. When command structures are disrupted, response time increases. This was not symbolic. It was designed to degrade operational capability. Shortly after the strike, reports emerged indicating that senior Iranian leadership figures were killed, including Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Security forces immediately surrounded government compounds. Military vehicles deployed around sensitive buildings. Command staff were relocated to secure underground facilities. Inside Iran, such an event creates immediate pressure. Political leadership must demonstrate control. Military leadership must demonstrate readiness. Public messaging must project strength. Under these conditions, retaliation becomes highly probable, and retaliation followed. Ballistic missiles were launched from desert-based platforms. Mobile launch vehicles dispersed across open terrain. Unmanned aerial drones were deployed in coordinated waves. The sky over Israeli territory lit up at night. Air defense systems activated. Interceptors launched. Explosions appeared above urban skylines as incoming projectiles were intercepted. Each missile launch sends a signal. Each interception sends another signal. Deterrence is measured not only in destruction, but in demonstrated capability. Within hours, the situation shifted from strike to active exchange. Military bases linked to United States operations in the region entered high alert status. Patriot missile batteries were positioned defensively. Armed personnel moved into reinforced positions. Surveillance drones monitored surrounding airspace continuously. The confrontation was no longer a single event. It had become a live deterrence cycle. And deterrence cycles are unstable environments. Every launch tests interception systems. Every interception tests political restraint. Every miscalculation shortens the distance to escalation. This is where the confrontation now stands, not as a headline, but as an active military tension environment. Following the initial exchange, regional military posture intensified rapidly. United States military installations connected to operations in the region shifted into elevated defensive status. Air defense crews monitored radar feeds continuously. Missile batteries were placed on standby. Convoys moved between fortified compounds under increased security. In nearby waters, naval forces adjusted formation. Aircraft carriers operated with enhanced flight readiness. Fighter jets launched for patrol rotations. Guided missile destroyers tracked aerial signatures across radar displays. Maritime proximity reduces decision time. Reduced reaction time increases operational stress. Inside Israeli territory, air defense systems continued scanning for incoming threats. Interceptor launchers remained active. Emergency services stood ready. Civil defense systems maintained communication with urban centers. At the same time, inside Iran, military leadership convened inside fortified facilities. Command personnel gathered around digital battlefield displays. Security units increased perimeter control around key infrastructure. Armored vehicles remained positioned near sensitive compounds. The confrontation now exists across multiple layers. Missile forces positioned in open terrain, air defense networks protecting dense cities, naval vessels operating in confined waters, military bases functioning under defensive posture. Each layer adds complexity. Complexity increases the probability of error. 3 escalation pathways are now visible. The first pathway is controlled exchange. Missile launches followed by interceptions. Limited strikes on military installations. Strategic signaling without widening the battlefield. The second pathway is expanded operations. Additional waves of drone activity. Strikes targeting higher value military assets. Increased involvement of naval or air units. The third pathway is structural escalation. A successful strike that causes significant casualties. A high-value facility destroyed. A miscalculated response that crosses a red line. In such an environment, escalation rarely begins with formal declaration. It begins with timing errors. A radar signal misinterpreted as hostile. An interceptor failure that allows impact. A retaliatory strike that exceeds intended scope. Inside command rooms, officers analyze damage assessments. Inside military bunkers, decision-makers evaluate response options. Inside secure communication networks, coordination continues without pause. The pressure on leadership in all three states increases with every exchange. Military commanders demand readiness. Political leaders demand deterrence credibility. Domestic audiences demand visible strength. These pressures compress decision space. Compressed decision space increases risk. The exchange of strikes is only the visible layer. Missiles can be intercepted. Air defenses can be repaired. Military installations can be reinforced, but something else may have shifted. Deterrence calculations across the Middle East have been recalibrated. The threshold for direct confrontation between Israel and Iran has changed. The posture of United States forces in the region has adjusted. And once deterrence thresholds move, they rarely return to their previous position. This confrontation may have done more than trigger retaliation. It may have altered the balance of power across the Middle East security system. And that shift is far more significant than a single exchange of missiles. That shift deserves its own analysis.